Good evening, class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. So as we discussed the last time, now we'll continue with this topic of solving inequalities. And we'll start applying whatever we have learned in the previous topic of sets. वो use करके now we'll try to see how we can solve various inequalities. Right. So everyone must be knowing the basic inequality signs. What are the signs which we use in inequality? This is equal to, does not equal to, greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal. Okay. So as of now, these are the basic signs which everyone should know. What is the meaning between these symbols? Most of you know. For example, if I say how do you translate these inequalities in English? Someone like to guess. First one, this will be read as x is
Equal to.
this will be read as x is not equal to. This will be read as x is greater than. What is this read as the last one? This is actually read as x is
Less than equal to.
Yeah, it's less than or. So here the word or I'm writing so that you understand. This is the difference between the others. It is less than or equal to. Okay. What does it mean? For example, let us say age of Ram. The age of Ram is greater than or equal to 16. And age of Lakshmi is lesser than given Ram and Lakshman. Given Ram and Lakshman are twins. Find their respective age. Let us say there is a question like this. What would the answer be?
Sir, 16.
Sir, 16.
Yeah. Yeah, fine. Answer is like. But See, concept is important. This means Ram is a person whose age is always greater than 16, which means Ram's age can be equal to 16. Ram's age can be 17, or Ram's age can be between 16 to 17. I hope everyone remembers this bracket, open bracket. Okay. Similarly, Ram age can be 18 or it can be between. It can be 18 or it can be between 17 to 18, so on and so forth, right? This is the meaning of this statement, that Ram's age is greater than or equal to 16. So that means the starting point is from 16. On the other hand, if you analyze Lakshman, you see Lakshman's age is given to be less than or equal to, which means Lakshman's age can be equal to 16. Lakshman's age cannot go beyond 16, but it can be anything lesser than that. So it can be 15, and in fact, it can be anything in between also, 15 to 16. Now, please note, whenever you write an open interval, I hope you guys remember, on the left side, you write the lesser term, and the right side, we have to write the bigger term. You cannot write an interval like this. This is wrong. You have to write the smaller number on the left hand side, greater number on the right hand side, just like in the real number line, what you plotted in your school. Similarly, left hand side should be smaller than right hand side. Okay. Right. So on and so forth. These are the ages which Lakshman can take. But now it is said that both of them are twins. So both of them are supposed to have the same age. So there is only one possibility, because Ram's age is either 16 or it is something greater than 16. Lakshman's age is 16 or it is lesser than 16. So there is only one common age. What is that common age? That is 60. Right. Now imagine what is the importance of this sign. I just wanted to bring out the importance. Let us say the question changes a little, and instead of saying this, they say Ram's age is 16 and Lakshman's age is all less than 16. And then they say it is given that both of them are friends, and find the respective age. What will be the answer? Answer will be none.
None. So we can also write 5.
If there are set of values, if there is a set of possible ages, then you can write 5. Okay. If they're not talking about sets, then you don't have to. Okay. See, sometimes you want to use a set because you cannot write every value. For example, Ram's age is greater than or equal to 16. Now, to write this mathematically, you need to use set. What is that set? You can write this as set closed interval 16 to
16, infinity. Open interval.
now see one more important point which I mentioned the last time. Whenever you write infinite, we are supposed to have a open sign. I explain the reason also. What is the reason? Because close symbol means inclusion. Remember I told closed, it looks almost like I, right? Include. Of course, you might think it looks like E also, but see, anyway, closed means include, and open bracket means exclude. You see, infinite itself is not a defined value. It is not a defined value, it is not a particular value. So how can you include something which is not defined? So for this reason, wherever you write infinity, you're always supposed to use an open bracket. Okay, this is clear? Right. Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So basic basic rules. Or basic rules of inequality. Basic rules of inequalities. This is something also which might seem very easy, but yet I'm just stating them so that things are clear, because after some time many students get confused, right? These are very basic things, but then everything starts from here. I just listed them now. So let us go one by one. So basic inequalities. Let us say you have two quantities, A greater than B. Okay. Then the first note is telling that if A is greater than B, then that implies that A plus K is greater than B plus K. Okay. So easiest way to understand is take an example. Let us say 7 is always greater than 5. See, 7 is two numbers greater than 5. So no matter whatever you add to 7, if you're going to add the same thing to 5, then the difference is always maintained. Even if you add 10 power 6, near also you add 10 power 6. Still this quantity is slightly greater. So no matter what you add to the inequality, add, okay, not I'm telling add. Addition will not make a difference to the sign of the inequality. So if A is greater than B, that implies A plus K is also greater than B plus K. Okay, and the same thing will hold true for the other inequality, in the sense greater than or equal to. This is also, of course, here the example will look absurd, because is this true or not? 7 greater than or equal to 5. Is this true or not?
Sir, false.
No, it is not false. It is true.
Sir, it is true.
Because you're telling it is greater than 5 or it is equal to 5.
Sir, because it is satisfying any of the one conditions.
Yeah. See, that's why you should be careful. It is either lesser or equal, or it can satisfy either. It doesn't have to. Nothing will satisfy both simultaneously, isn't it? So even if it satisfies one, we say it is, satisfying the inequality. But generally, you won't find anything like this. Generally, we deal with variables. Okay. Right. Now, having said this, it is equally true with subtraction also, in the sense, if A is greater than or equal to B, then that also implies that A minus K is greater than or equal to B minus K. Same logic here. A से कितना घट गया, B से भी उतना ही घट गया. So both of them are equally damaged, you can say. So still the difference is being maintained. No doubt in this, no? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So generally these things are fine, but then as it goes ahead, you have to be more careful. Now the third point is important. It says if A is greater than B, then this implies K times of A is greater than K times of B, provided K is a positive real number and Ka will be lesser than Kb if K is a negative real number. So based on whether K is positive or negative, the inequality is changing. So for the first time, we are seeing that the inequality is changing. What is happening? Let us just look into what is happening. See, on the number line, what actually happens? 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. And here you have -1, -2, -3, so on. See, generally when you're on the positive side, 1 is lesser than 2. 3 is greater than 1. Okay. But let us say you are multiplying -1 on both sides. If you multiply -1 on both sides, what is happening? 3 into -1, 1 into -1. 3 into -1 is equal to -3. And 1 into -1 is -1. Who is greater?
Sir, -1.
Yeah. So
Minus.
yeah, on the number line, when you're going towards the negative side, the bigger the magnitude, the smaller the quantity. So as you keep going this side, your number is actually getting smaller. What do you mean smaller? It is becoming more and more negative. So -3 is actually lesser than -1. Okay, all of you must be knowing. But see, if 3 is greater than 1, then when you go to the other side, it's like the mirror reflection, right? Here, this fellow is greater. But if you want to go to the other side, you have to reflect them about a mirror. Then the inequality just changes. Here, if 3 is greater than 1, yeah, when you're going to this side, the inequality -1 greater than -3. Okay. Because the quantities on right are always greater than the quantities on left when you're plotting the number line. Okay. So actually this point, even though it looks like a very simple point, it is going to make major changes in many of the questions we are going to do. That's why I'm marking this as a more important point. Okay. Clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is point number 3. Now point number 4. So if the first 3 points are clear, then point number 4 should also be understood. Point number 4 tells we cannot multiply. We cannot multiply an inequality. You cannot multiply an inequality with a variable whose sign is unknown. Okay, let us just look at these 2 examples. Now the first example is telling if z is greater than 3, can we say that x minus 1 into z is always greater than 3 into x minus 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, but the x minus 1.
It depends on whether the value of z is positive or negative.
See, z is always positive. Now, if it is greater than 3, it is always positive.
Sir, we don't know
Sir,
if
but
is
x minus 1 is negative or not?
negative or positive.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on the sign of x minus 1. So we don't know anything about x minus 1. So if you don't know that x minus 1 is positive, then you cannot say that z is greater than 3. It cannot necessarily imply that x minus 1 into z is also greater than 3 into x minus 1. So this implication or this inference cannot be made. ये आप नहीं बोल सकते, ठीक है? But come to the next statement. What can anyone comment about this statement?
Again, explain the first one.
First one is I'm telling because you don't know about the sign of x minus 1. See, is it necessary that x minus 1 is always positive?
No.
So that's what. If you do not know, the sign is unknown, then you cannot multiply it on both sides with something you don't know. Because if this is negative, then the sign is supposed to change, no?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Sir, but in the second example, x is greater than y. Even if we multiply it with z squared plus 1. So because even a negative number has a positive square, so always a square of a number will a negative number or a positive number is always positive. So we can see that x is greater.
I didn't fully understand what you said. X is greater than y does not mean x is positive. Like minus 1 is greater than minus 10. It doesn't mean that this is positive. It can be negative also. है ना?
Yes.
So is this statement true or false?
Sir, it is true.
Why?
Sir, the value of x can be anything, but sir, the z square plus 1 is positive because any negative number square is always positive. So, if we multiply it with a positive number, for example, if we take x as minus 1 and y as minus 10, as you took, and we multiply both the numbers with 2. So, the value will be minus 2 and the value will be minus 2 and minus 20, where x is greater than y.
See, anyway, the only important point here is this quantity is.
Sir, but I think it can be false also.
How?
Always positive.
So means x is negative, means if x is negative and y is also negative, so z square plus 1 over, sorry, z square plus 1, sorry, sir.
Okay, no?
No.
Both can be negative,
Yes, sir, yes.
but the sign will not change. Just like I showed, minus 2 is greater than minus 3. Multiply with 10 on both sides. Minus 20 is greater than minus 30. There's no harm in that. Okay? So this statement is always true. Are you guys able to follow? Anyone is confused till now? Srijita? Everyone is clear?
No, sir.
Okay. Vishal, BS, that everyone is able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Right. So a point similar to the fourth point is the next point that fifth point tells cross multiplication should also be done with caution. I'm writing this point in a different way. In the sense it can be true, it can be false also. Why am I writing it in this way? Because, see, let us say you have x plus 1 by x minus 1 is greater than x square by x cube plus 1. From here, generally students have the tendency to write like this. But what I'm saying is, this is not necessarily true. Why? What is the reason? The reason is the same thing. You don't know what is x minus 1. X minus 1 can be something negative. If it is something negative, then when you multiply x minus 1 on both sides, x plus 1 greater than x square by x cube plus 1 into x minus 1. You're multiplying x minus 1 on both sides. But then if this is negative, then the inequality will change. And then again you have x cube plus 1. So we don't know the sign of x cube plus 1. X cube plus 1 can be negative also. It is not square, it is cube. Like minus 2. What is the cube of minus 2?
Sir, minus 8.
Minus 8.
Minus 2 cube plus 1 is equal to?
Minus 7.
Minus 7.
Minus 7.
Yeah, so this quantity can be something negative also. Now, so if you multiply this quantity on both sides, the sign will change based on this quantity and this quantity. So because we do not fully know about the sign of this quantity and this quantity, you cannot directly cross multiply and tell that this inequality implies this inequality. Did you guys understand the point? We cannot directly say that this inequality will imply this inequality. What is the reason? Reason is from the fourth point, that the signs are unknown. What is the sign of these linear terms? We do not know them. Linear term. This is a linear term. This is a cubic term. We don't know their sign. So without knowing their sign, we cannot directly multiply them. Okay. Anyone has doubt? Swapna, with you have some doubt?
No, sir.
Can we go ahead?
So can I explain it once more?
Okay. See, x plus 1 by x minus 1 is greater than x square by x cube plus 1. Let us say this is given. I'm saying if there were an equal to sign, because you guys have done these sort of things with equal to sign. Let us say you had equal to here instead. Then what do you generally do? Generally you just multiply. Cross
multiplication.
Yeah. You would like to cross multiply and you'd like to solve it. But now in equal to, that is fine. But what I'm saying, if you have this inequality, you cannot do that. Why? Because you cannot define what is an inequality. Because unless you know what is the sign of this term and this term, how can you tell how the inequality will change? Because we have already seen that if you're going to multiply with a negative term, then the inequality reverses. We have seen that in note 3, that if k is negative and if you multiply with k on both sides, here a was greater than b, but after multiplying with k, ka becomes lesser than kb. For example, 10 is greater than 5, but multiply with minus 2, minus 20 becomes lesser than minus 10. So if you multiply with a negative number, then the inequality changes.
Yes, sir.
But here we do not know whether it is negative or positive or what it is, which is the fourth point. Fourth point is telling we cannot multiply an inequality with a variable whose sign is not known. Why? Because after multiplying, you won't know which sign to put. You get it?
Yes, sir. Then how to multiply?
Yeah, so you can't multiply. How to solve it will come to that. That part will come to that later. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The way to solve it is you don't multiply, but you bring both the terms on one side. When it is in this form, you rewrite it as a, b, then you write it as a minus b is greater than 0. And then you simplify this part and you solve it. We'll do the problems later on, but that is how we do it. Okay. I'll come to that, don't worry.
Okay.
So next point is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, actually next point I write the same point. 5, 6. Point number 6. Point number 6 is telling the same thing. And this is something very, very important. Now all of you have to grow up, and this is a very common mistake which school students do, which I don't want you guys to do. If a times of, write a instead, if a times of b is greater than a times of c, this does not imply B is greater than C. What is the reason? Reason is same as note number 4. Note number
We
5.
don't know the sign of A and we don't know the sign of A.
Exactly, good. So how does it work? See, actually, when you're cancelling out, what are you doing? We are dividing with A on both sides, isn't it? See, AB greater than AC. Instead of just cancelling it out, what is the signs of cancelling things out? It is basically dividing. So can I say you're multiplying with 1 by A on both sides? That is when it gets cancelled. Na? Do you understand? Cancelling it out is same as multiplying with 1 by A on both sides. You guys understand that?
Yes, sir.
So then the same problem is there. Now you don't know what is the sign of 1 by A. Because you don't know the sign of 1 by A, therefore this statement is not necessarily valid. So then the next question which arises, which Shubhankar was also asking, then how to solve it? The way to solve it is correct way is AB greater than AC implies, see, if you remember note 1, note 2, there is no problem with subtraction. You can add or subtract very freely. So we are just going to subtract AC on both sides. Can I subtract AC on both sides?
Yes, sir.
So then this equation reduces to, sorry, this inequality reduces to this form. And AB minus AC can always be written as A into B minus C greater than 0. Right, for this there is no problem.
Sir, the sign within B minus C can change if the sign of A changes. Like if it is plus, then it will remain as B minus C. If it is minus, then it will be B plus C.
Okay. See, they are not depending on each other, first of all. Because whatever the sign of A is, you can take A common. And when you take A common, what remains is B minus C. Why are you telling the sign will depend on A? A can be negative positive, B minus C can also be negative positive. It doesn't matter. What matters is the product of both should be positive. That is what matters. Okay. So just note this down step by step. Okay. Now, why did I say this is an important thing? Because in school level also, suppose you had x cube plus x equal to 4x. And what people would do, they will take x common. X square plus 1 equal to, you take x common, x minus 4. X cancel this out. And from here you get a quadratic equation, x square minus x plus 5 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation with no real roots. Of course, we have not discussed quadratic equations, but this quadratic equation has no real roots. So if the question were solve x cube plus x equal to x square minus 4x, what would be the answer? If this quadratic equation has no roots, no value of x will give you, will make this quadratic equation as 0. You don't have any x which is going to make this quadratic equation 0. See, it's just like x square plus 1. For what value of x square plus 1? For what value of x will x square plus 1 be equal to 0? When will this be equal to 0?
So when x value is minus 1.
When x is minus
No,
1.
this can't be. No.
X
Minus.
square is minus 1.
Possible, I think. Even
X.
if
He's
we
telling when the square is minus.
square is 1 only, then we will get 2.
Yeah. So this has no real solution. Of course, what you guys are talking is something others. It doesn't have a real root. It has a complex root, which is under root of minus 1. But generally, because we are not doing complex numbers, we say that this equation has no real root. It does not have a real root. Now, if you are able to understand the logic behind this, yes, x square is always greater than or equal to 0. Therefore, x square plus 1 can never be 0. If you are able to digest that, then understand that this is also something similar. Okay, x square minus x plus 5 is also such expression which can never be 0. How do you understand that? We'll discuss later in quadratic equation. We have not discussed, but now my question is something different. My question is, suppose you get this in the exam. Solve. What do you mean by solve? Solve means for what values of x will the below hold true? For what values of x will the below given equality or inequality be true? So when will this inequality be true? For what value of x? For no value of x?
For no value.
Suppose that you solve x square plus 1 equal to 0. What is the answer? Answer is no real root, or x belongs to 5. Null set. There is no.
Sir,
What is this answer? What is the answer here?
Understand.
Anyone else has a different answer?
Sir, can we use Sridhar Acharya's formula?
See, after using that only you won't get. If you know Sridhar Acharya formula, minus s minus b square minus 4ac. Everyone knows this? I thought you.
by 2a. By 2a.
Does everyone know this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acha, good then, very good. I thought you people did not know. So tell me, what is the quantity b square minus 4ac over here? Under root.
So discriminant.
Yes. How much? 1 minus 4 into 5, which is under root. How much is it?
So minus 19.
What is the root of this? Huh?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So what is the root? What are the roots of this quadratic?
Sir, we have to now root.
It doesn't have real root. This is not a real number, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is a complex number.
It is a complex number. So it does not have any real roots. There is no real number root. Okay. So what is the answer of this question? BS Das can tell. BS Das or Arnish?
So no values. If unimaginary values.
Unimaginary. Yeah, no real value. I get your answer is no real value, na?
So your voice is not coming properly, sir.
Okay, your answer is no real value. Is my voice breaking?
Sir, unimaginary value. I mean imaginary value.
Anyone?
Hello?
Yes, Arnesh, you have any answer? Vishal, Riju.
So there is no value which can satisfy the equation.
Okay. Answer is x equal to 0. How? Substitute x equal to 0. Is it turning out to be true? Is it true for x equal to 0?
Yes, sir.
Then. But how come we did not get it in the answer?
Then how it is true when the value of x is 0?
0 cube plus 0
Sir, because
is equal to 0 square minus 4 into 0. Isn't it true?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Then from where did this come? What is wrong with the maths here? Okay. So this has turned out to be like a thriller suspense movie. What happened? Kya ho gaya? Now let us go back to the flashback and carefully see what is happening. So it is x cube plus x equal to x square minus 4x.
Sir,
This is
can you repeat it?
yeah, I'm repeating. Repeat what?
For the previous one, actually, I had some internet problem.
Yeah, I didn't say
It was
anything.
totally black, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. Chale. So we're doing it again just to carefully see.
Sir, and your voice is cracking, sir.
What about the others? Are the others able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think Shubhankar, you have to check your net.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So where is the mistake in what we did? This is the first step. What was the second step we did? We took x
So
common.
we took x common.
After that, what did you do? Cancelled x. What was the third step? X square plus 1 is equal to x minus. What is the fourth step? X square
Plus x.
minus x,
Sorry, minus x plus 5.
which has no solution. So where is the mystery? So that is what I told. This is the place where the mistake happens. This is where students make mistake. Because when you're doing this step, actually you're missing out on a solution. That is why it is not recommended that you cancel out things like this. What is the right way of doing this? The right way of doing this is bring them both on the same. You have to write this as x into x square plus 1 minus x into x minus 4 is equal to 0. Then you can take x common again. So this directly becomes x square plus 1 minus x plus 4. Can I directly write this in this way? Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
So when you're multiplying two things and getting 0, that means either this has to be 0 or this has to be 0 or both can be 0. Okay. But
Yes,
we have seen that this is a quadratic equation which is never 0. It has no solution. So it is not equal to 0. So the only solution is when x is 0.
Yes, sir.
So the mistake which students do is whenever you cancel out a number like this, you're missing out on a solution. In school, maybe it was not so important, but now in higher classes, you'll be asked to find all the solutions of a particular equation. So then it becomes important. Every step you're doing becomes very important. Okay. So one more thing which all of you have to notice. What is the degree of this? If you bring everything on the same side, what is the degree of this polynomial?
So which sir, x square. Sorry, x cube. X cube.
X cube.
P is the degree.
X cube,
P.
sir.
Yeah. So the degree is
X cube.
3. We say that the degree is 3, and because it is 3, we say it is a cubic polynomial. Now, whenever the degree is 3, it has 3 roots. It will definitely have 3 roots, but we don't know if the 3 roots are all real or not, but it will definitely have 3 roots. Now sometimes these roots might not be real roots, as in this case, right? So this case 2 roots are not real, but the third root is real, and that third root is 0. So what is happening, you're starting with a cubic expression, and in middle you cancelled out x on both sides, so you have actually decreased the degree, and from step 3 onwards you're actually solving for a expression of degree 2. मतलब क्वेश्चन का स्टार्टिंग में डिग्री 3 था, but in the middle, since you cancelled x, you have reduced a degree. Because you reduce the degree, you are missing out on some solutions. जो solutions between वो सब छूट जाएगा. Whatever was in between, you are going to lose. That is why all of you lost this solution, x equal to. So this is one place where all of you should be very careful. Okay. This is okay. Did everyone get the point?
Yes, sir.
So just like you have to be very careful in this, similarly, we also have to be careful. This is a note. We have to be careful when we increase the degree. Increase the degree. We have to be careful when we increase the degree, as we are going to increase the number of solutions. Did you guys understand this point?
Yes, sir.
I'll give a small
Yes, sir.
example. Yeah. Let us say okay. I'm giving a very simple example. Let us say x equal to -1, or even simpler. Yeah, let us say x equal to -1. So this is only x equal to -1. This is a simple equation having just one solution, which all of you can see. But now what happens if you square on both sides? X square will be equal to +1. Now if x square is equal to +1, what is the procedure? I just told you, you have to take it on the other side. This becomes x square -1 equal to 0. And then x square -1 has to be written as x -1 into x +1 equal to 0. Just like I told, when you're multiplying two things and you're getting 0, if a into b is equal to 0, that means either a is 0 or b is 0 or both are 0. Now since this is a and this is b in this case, either this part should be 0 or this part should be 0. Can both be 0 simultaneously?
No. Yes, sir. It can be.
Yes, sir. it can.
How? For what value of x?
So one second, you are asking for both A and B.
I asked, can both of these terms be 0 at the same time? Is there any value of x for which both of them will be 0? When x -1 is equal to 0, it is possible. Is it possible that x +1 is also equal to 0?
No,
So,
sir.
wait. So no,
No,
sir.
that's not possible.
Not possible. So in this case, either x +1 is 0 or x -1 is 0. In other words, this has two solutions. What are the two solutions? X is equal to +-1. What has happened, my dear friends? You have started very innocently with this linear equation, x is equal to -1. And we became entrapped in this mathematical mire to come to the conclusion that x is plus or minus 1. How can you start with x equal to minus 1 and end up with x equal to plus or minus 1? How is it possible? Where is a mistake? Where is a mistake? Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. How is it possible that x equal to minus 1 and in the same question you're...
Sir,
Yes.
sir, sir, x equals to minus 1. So, sir, we cannot square both sides, no?
Why not?
Why not? We can, sir. We can.
If x equal to minus 1, what is minus 1 into minus 1? Huh?
Sir,
So
and
1.
Then,
sir,
then is it wrong? Is x square equal to plus 1 wrong? If x equal to minus 1, isn't x square equal to plus 1? Yes or no? Huh?
yes, sir.
See, the point is, it is not wrong, but it is something extra. In the sense, the question is a linear equation, and on your own, you're increasing the degree. That is what I told. If you are going to increase a degree by yourself, then naturally, if you have a equation or expression with higher degree, you will have more roots. But this is something which you introduced. How? Because you did squaring on both sides, and after squaring, the degree is increasing. Because you have increased the degree, therefore the solutions are also increasing. But then who increased it? We ourselves increased it. Therefore, after you square on both sides and you come to some answer, we should always go back to the question and check if it is valid or not. I'll give you some examples later on. See, many times in many questions, you'll find it very easy to square on both sides. It is very easy to solve some questions when you square on both sides. But because you're squaring on both sides, you have to make sure that the solutions which you're getting in the end are verified with the original equation. Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So just remember these two things, that you have to be careful when you're squaring on both sides and when you're cancelling things on both sides. That much is clear. This point is clear, na? Two things you have to be careful.
Yes, sir.
Cancelling on
Yes,
both
sir.
sides, right? Okay. So that was note number 6. Right. Then note number 7. Yeah, so this is a very big confusion many students have. Let us say you have one inequality saying A is greater than B, and you have one more inequality saying C is greater than D. Then what are the operations you can perform amidst these two inequalities? What all things can we do? The answer is, we can, I'll write in capital, we can only add them. You cannot do any other thing, especially when we are not sure about the signs. Okay, we can only add them for sure. And we have to be cautious. We have to be cautious about subtraction, multiplication, and division. And we have to be cautious about subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay. In other words, this note is telling A greater than B and C greater than D. This implies A plus C greater than B. This alone is always true. This is always true. But the other things, they are not necessarily true always. Okay. I'll just explain. Yeah, I'll explain. Just give me 1 more minute. Just write the 8th note, then I'll come to the explanation. But let us say all the terms are positive. If A, B, C, D, let us say all the terms which are present, they are all positive. Then multiplication is also allowed, but only multiplication, not the other things, especially not subtraction. Then multiplication is also allowed. Now some of you might be confused, sir, what is wrong with subtraction? Because addition, subtraction is the same thing.
So, but the value of C can also be greater than A sometimes. And the value of D can be less than B.
Yeah. So what do you want to say from this?
So that's why subtraction is not allowed, because we are not sure about the value.
Yeah. See, what is the problem with subtraction? Actually, subtraction involves multiplying with a minus sign. I'll show you something, right? Let us take the same example. If A is greater than B and C is greater than D, let us say subtraction holds true. If you subtract both of this, what are you getting? A minus C is greater than B minus D. Let us say subtraction is true. But then the same thing, if I write C greater than D, A greater than B, it shouldn't matter who you're subtracting first exactly. If I subtract both of these equations, what do I get? Both of these inequalities. I get C minus A is greater than D minus B. C minus A greater than D minus B. Can I take minus 1 on both sides, or can I multiply with minus 1 on both sides? What will happen if I multiply with minus 1 on both sides?
So it will become A minus C is greater than B minus D.
No. When you multiply with a negative sign, what happens to the inequality?
Is smaller than B minus C.
Smaller than B minus. Yes, right. Inequality we should change now if you're multiplying with minus 1.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you see, this itself is leading to a big contradiction. You subtracted it once you're getting this, another time you subtracted, the same subtraction is giving you the opposite thing. So you see, the problem with subtraction is, subtraction in itself, it includes multiplying with a minus sign, where it includes multiplying with a minus sign over here. It is actually minus C minus D. If you multiply with minus on both sides, then it becomes A plus minus of C. But what is the problem? The problem is when you multiply with minus on both sides, the inequality changes. If you multiply with minus 1, the inequality will change.
Yes, sir.
So how can you add two things once the inequality has changed? So that is where the problem comes. Okay. But then, yes, again, then you might observe something interesting. After you multiply with minus 1, the same thing you can write in this way. Minus D is greater than, what happens? Minus C. Is this true?
Yes, sir.
Is this true? Answer is yes, it is true. Because we are just adding, and it is allowed to add two inequalities. So, in fact, if you just observe this carefully, this equation and this equation are the same thing. See, if you add C on both sides, here you'll get A plus C. And then you add D on both sides, you'll get B plus B. This is the same as the first equation we got. Okay. So that means when you add, there is no problem. You can add A greater than B and C greater than D. But you cannot subtract A greater than B and C greater than D. Why? Because in subtraction, you are going to involve multiplying with -1 at a particular step. And when you multiply -1, the inequality is going to reverse like this. Yes, after the inequality reverses, we can add it again because addition is always allowed. Yes.
Sir.
Sir,
So how can we say that A minus D is greater than B minus C is same to A plus C is greater than B plus that you told just now?
Okay, see. Let us start from here. Do you agree that A plus C is greater than B plus D?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now from node 2, we know that we can subtract on both sides.
Yes, sir.
You can check node 2, A minus K is always greater than B minus K. I told na, the difference is maintained. Let us say you are getting 80 and some friend of your Pawan is getting 70. And let us say in your final exam, you are getting 60 and he is getting 50. So both of your marks have been reduced by 20, but still your marks are greater. You get the logic, na? Subtraction is always allowed. Okay. So if I subtract both sides with D, is there any problem? Is this step okay?
Yes, sir.
Now can I subtract both sides with C?
Yes, sir.
Is this step okay? So then we come to the same conclusion as before. Okay. So see, it's not just that we subtracted. Don't think that we subtracted these two equations. After we multiplied the minus sign, we are adding these two. But what is the problem here? The problem here is when you're subtracting, you're actually multiplying a minus sign due to which the inequality is changing. And after the inequality changes, you cannot add like that. You get it, na? If A is greater than B and C is less than D, you cannot add these two. That is not proper. Yes, Rijita?
So I was asking that there you wrote A minus D is greater than B minus C, and after that you wrote that A plus C is greater than B plus C. How did it came? I can't understand that, sir. Can you please explain?
Yeah. So what you do, you start from here and you go from here to here. I wrote this first. This is the first step. Okay. Now can you add C on both sides? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now can you add D on both sides? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you get it?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Any more doubts? Right. BS, you're able to follow BS Das?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you feeling bored?
No, sir.
Not you, BS Das. This is
No,
all
sir.
too simple. But see, this is important because I have seen many students after they become very senior, sometimes they get doubt. Ye kar sakte hai, nahi kar sakte. Is this allowed, not allowed? That's why better make the concepts very clear in the beginning. Okay. So is everything fine till now? Okay. So if all this is fine, then we can start solving some problems. This is okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. So just before we start solving problems, I want to define two things. We are going to define something called as domain and something called as roots. I think roots all of you must be knowing. So I'll give a very simple definition, okay? Domain means the permissible value. The permissible value of the variable, the permissible values. Okay, just add the s here. The permissible values of the variable for a for a given expression. The permissible values of the variable for a given expression. Okay. For example, let us say you have the expression under root of x minus 5. So what are the permissible values of this of x in this particular expression? What are the values of x which are permitted for this?
Sir, 6.
Okay. Can x be equal to 0? Can x take the value 0?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, because then the
So then
equation
it
will
will be
result to
minus 5, root over of minus 5.
root over of minus 5, which will not be a.
Sir, it's
It is no
an
real.
unimaginary.
Equals to 30.
Yeah, not unimaginary, imaginary.
Sorry, it is not an unimaginary.
It's not imaginary. It's not a real number. Let us say a real imaginary. We have real numbers.
It can be 9. X also can be 9.
That it can be many things. But then what is the policy? The policy is whatever is inside. This is important. So here you can write note. The expression inside of an eventh root. I hope this word will not confuse all of you. Of an eventh root. The expression inside an eventh root. I don't know if this is an actual word, but I'll explain what I'm saying. The expression inside an eventh root should be non-negative. What do you mean by non-negative?
Positive.
No.
So it should be
0 and all the positive numbers.
Good. Non-negative means 0 plus all positive real numbers. This is non-negative. That is a fine difference between positive and non-negative. Because when you say non-negative, the emphasis is on saying that it is not negative, which means it can be anything other than negative number. So it can be 0 also. But when you say it is positive, that means it is just positive. It cannot be 0 either. So that's why many times the word non-negative has a different meaning and you should be very cautious. Okay? Now the expression inside the eventh root. What do I mean by eventh root? See, this is actually called a square root. This is a second root. Similarly, you have the fourth root, you have the sixth root, or you can have the 100th root of some polynomial. The point is whatever is inside this polynomial, that quantity should be non-negative. Right? In other words, in this particular question, what is the polynomial inside?
X minus 5.
X minus 5.
Yeah. So this actually boils down to the inequality x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. And now it is allowed to add on both sides of inequality, which means x is greater than or equal to 5. This is okay. This part is fine. So this particular function, or let us say expression, will have a domain which extends in this fashion. In the sense, if you plot the real line, if you plot the real line, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -1. So this is the real line which you had. Now, what are the permissible values? The permissible values are all values which are greater than or equal to 5. You take any value of x which is greater than or equal to 5, that value is permitted. Okay. So this shaded region is actually becomes the domain of this expression. This is clear?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
can you give one more example?
Yeah, I'll give plenty. Did everyone copy this?
Yes, sir. For the non-negative one, we can also write open bracket 0, infinity close bracket. Sorry, close bracket 0, infinity open bracket.
Yes.
So for 1 second, can you show the previous page? So for 1 second, can you show the previous page? Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Of course, see, this finding domain is actually a topic which we discuss in 12th class. In 12th class, there is a functions topic. Yeah, in that functions topic, we discuss this generally, but still, this is a very basic important thing, which is why I'm discussing it here. Okay? So find the domain of this function. We call it a function. Okay, maybe this is too tough. I'll just make it a little bit. Yeah, let us keep it to this. Try this question. Find the domain of square root of log of x minus 5, and in the denominator you have x square minus. Everyone can try to solve this. Now log, we already completed logarithms. In logarithms, there are two important conditions. Everyone remembers? Log a to the base b. What are the conditions of a and b?
So A is not equal to 0.
And b?
So B is not a negative number.
A negative number.
We are non-negative, not equal to.
Yeah. Anything else? B, any other condition for B? Huh?
Not equal to 1 also.
Not equal. What are the other conditions? Anyone
So
remember?
B can be 0.
No. Can be. So this is a different discussion. In logarithms, we discuss this. Yeah. What are the other conditions? A and B are always positive. So these are the conditions you have to note for logarithms. So we define it in a simpler way. We tell A comma B are belonging to positive numbers such that A comma B are not 0 and B not. Generally, we write it like this. But this can be written in the following 5 conditions. Okay. Now another hint I'm giving all of you. Here log x minus 5 is given, but there is no mention of any base. So if the base is not mentioned, then what do you consider the basis? If no base is mentioned, then what do you take the base as?
10.
Yeah. 10. So whenever the base is generally not mentioned, we consider that the base is 10. Okay.
Sir,
Yes. Okay. Okay.
so can I leave for my computer class?
Yes. Yes. Please.
So, is this recording available in YouTube?
No, I can put it. But see, I am also going to end at 5:30. So mostly I'll just
Hello?
the solution. If you want, I can keep it.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Right. Okay. Did anyone get any answer?
Sir, will the answer be in intervals?
Will the answer be?
In intervals means like
Yeah. See, the solution goes like this. If you have a expression in this term, so then you have to take the intersection. Solution is
sir, I got it as closed bracket 3 comma infinity open bracket minus 4.
wait 1 second. The final domain is the intersection. Is the intersection of all domains. Okay. So now what are the domains you have to check for? First thing, here in this question, there are 3 domains which you have to be careful about. The first function is the log function. Okay. The second function is the denominator. You have to be careful about the denominator. I'll explain each one of them. And the third thing you have to be careful is about the square root. So all these 3 have particular conditions. Okay. Now one by one, can you all tell me what are the constraints with the 3 things? What are the constraints involved in log a to the base b? What are the constraints or requirements of log a base b? It is required that both a and b are always positive and b does not equal to 1. Okay. What about the denominator? What is the condition which the denominator should follow? Anyone can guess? The denominator of any fraction, it should never be dash. Any guess?
Should never be 0.
Then 0.
Yeah, good. It should never be 0. Square root. What is the constraint accompanying the square root function? Whatever is inside the square root should always be
Positive.
positive. So whatever inside should be positive. So these are the only functions in this particular question. So one by one we solve each one of them. First of all, log. Let me use a different color. Great. Yeah. First, log of x minus 5 implies x minus 5 should be, is it greater than or equal to?
Greater than or equal to?
No, it is only greater. Why? Because it can never be 0. Okay. So this is the first one.
Yes.
Now adding 5 on both sides, we get that x is always greater than 5. This is the permissible domain for the log part. Everyone is clear? Everyone is clear with this?
Yes.
Now, second thing, what is the denominator? X square minus 3. Denominator should not be equal to 0. When is the denominator 0? This is nothing but, this is of the form a square minus b square. Can I say this is x square minus root 3 whole square?
Yes, sir.
That means x cannot take the 2 values. What are the 2 values? Plus or minus?
Plus minus root 3.
Root 3. So this is the second condition. Okay. And then what is the third condition? Square root should always be positive. In other words, log of x minus 5 should be positive and x square minus 3 should also be positive. Okay. So when is log of x minus 5 positive? See, I just write one more point. This is one case. There is one more case. What is the other case? The other case is log of x minus 5 can be negative and x square minus 3 can also be negative. Can anyone explain why this case is also true?
Sir, if the value of x is less than if less than 5, then this case can also.
No. That is not right. But anyway, that is not the question. My question is, if this is negative and this is negative, is it still valid? If both of them are simultaneously negative, is it okay? Can you write them both inside the square root? If this is also negative and this is also negative, is there any problem?
Also, because their minus signs will get actually their minus signs will get cancelled.
Cancelled. So everyone understands, na? See, you have square root of numerator by denominator. So this part should always be positive. When is this positive? This implies either both numerator and denominator are positive, or numerator denominator both should be negative. And the case where both are positive or the case where both are negative. These two are the valid cases. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now you see, okay, log x minus 5 to the base 10. Right. Now when the base is 10, you can actually raise both the powers to 10. This might be little confusing to some of you, but see, log a base b greater than c. This implies a is greater than b power c. Okay. This is true when b is greater than 1. Please note this down very carefully. This property will hold true when b is greater than 1. This requires some other discussion, which I'm not going to do. Because this you have to understand how the log function works. So better you just remember it as of now. Whenever b is greater than 1, then you can tell log a base b greater than c implies a greater than b power c. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So in other words, if you're telling log x minus 5 base 10 is greater than 0, that is same as saying x minus 5 is greater than 10 power 0. What is 10 power 0?
Sir, 1.
1. Which implies x should be greater than 6. Right? And remember, both of them should be positive, numerator and denominator. What is the denominator? X square minus 3 should be positive. Now we already proved this. When is x square minus 3 positive? This is important. X square minus 3 is positive. This should be split in two parts. X minus root 3 into x plus root 3. Now this is a very, very important part. On multiplying two things, when do you get positive sign? Okay, so on multiplying two things,
Sir, sir, if both of them should be either positive or negative.
yeah, very good.
Yes, sir.
If both are positive or both are negative, right? Now, what do you mean that both are positive? Both are positive implies x minus root 3 is greater than 0 and x plus root 3 is greater than 0. Both of them should be positive, right? Which also means x should be greater than root 3 and x should be greater than minus root 3. And similarly with this case, x minus root 3 should be negative and x plus root 3 should be negative, which implies x is less than root 3 and x is less than minus root 3. Okay. Now you see, what does this mean? This means, see, if you observe this carefully, x is greater than root 3 and x is greater than minus root 3. If I say x is greater than root 3, then I don't have to say this. This is automatically true. This is automatically true if x is greater than root 3. Okay. Similarly, if I say x is lesser than minus 3, then this is also true. So instead of writing both these cases, I can simply write x is greater than root 3 in this case, and in this case, x is lesser than minus 3. So the case where both the numbers are positive is actually represented by this case. And the case where both of them are negative is being represented by this case. Right? So in either case, this will be true. Now you see, there are a lot of concepts involved. When I say either, either means this can be true or this can be true. Now, if and corresponds to intersection, I told you last time in sets, what does either correspond to?
Sir, union.
Union. So in fact, the solution set of this particular inequality, very important, is x is greater than root 3 corresponds to the interval root 3 to where? X is greater than root 3 means root 3 comma till where?
Sir, till infinity.
Yeah, no bound is mentioned. Till infinity. Or x is smaller than minus root 3, which means beginning from minus infinity, it can take any value.
Minus.
So this is a very, very important part. X square minus 3 is greater than 0 can be further resolved into this solution. This implies x belongs to this. Okay. Is that okay? Right. Now, let us go back to the question. Now we just did one case where both are positive. Now both of them can be simultaneously negative also. Right. So we're actually a little short of time. But let us say we have not touched this case. This case all of you can do as homework. Is that okay? Is this part okay? You might have a little problem with log, but then you try to think about this. This is very interesting. When will this be less than 0? Okay. So the answer will be the intersection of all of this, which means x will be greater than 5 and x is not equal to minus 3 plus 3. But if x is greater than 5, then this does not make any sense because root 3 is anyway, root 3 and minus root 3 are both smaller than 5. So this solution actually becomes redundant. Redundant means it is not useful. Why it is not useful? Because anyway x is greater than 5, right? Then we go to the third one. Third one is giving another conclusion. Third one is telling x is greater than 6. And along with x greater than 6, you have x belongs to this region. So x greater than 6 can be written as x belongs to 6 to infinity. Whereas the denominator is going from root 3 to infinite and minus root 3 to infinite. So again, we have to take the intersection of both of these solutions. What is the intersection of both of these solutions? Very tricky. What is the common part between?
Sir, can I say?
Okay.
Sir, minus infinity, comma infinity, minus open bracket.
No, that is not common. Na? This negative part is not present here. So how it can be the intersection? Because whenever you're talking about and, you have to talk about the intersection. But you see, this is not the intersection part because here there is no negative part. So this part is not part of the intersection. So what is the intersection of both of these solutions?
Sir, open bracket 6 comma infinity open bracket.
Okay. So what is the final answer? The final answer is the intersection of condition 3, condition 2, and condition 1. But condition 1 and condition 2, if you use both of these, then you saw that condition 2 is not useful because condition 1 itself is telling that x is greater than 5. Now, if you compare condition 1 and condition 3, condition 1 is telling that x belongs to 5 to infinite, and condition 3 is telling x belongs to 6 to infinite. If you compare both of these, what is the intersection?
Again 6 to infinity.
Again 16. So this implies the final answer is x belongs to 6 to infinity. But then there is one more case which we did not consider, which is when both of them are negative, which you guys can try as homework. Okay. So actually we'll continue the discussion in the next class because we just started solving problem. And next class we'll be doing more problems. Okay. But this class I didn't want to start, but since we completed the discussion quickly, we started. Or else this class I just wanted to discuss about the basic rules of inequality and
So
domain.
can you send the notes on the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, I can send. But the last part I'll be discussing again because this became too big. But the other part should be very clear. This I won't repeat next time. What is domain and what is what are the basic rules of inequality? This part
So
should,
your voice is cracking.
I'm telling this part of the class should be very clear. Okay. Solving the domain we'll do again next class, but we won't discuss the rules again. Okay. So does anyone have a doubt regarding the rules? Okay. All right. Domain again will continue in the next class. Right. Is that okay? Yeah. Now as a homework, all of you can do this. What is the homework? Homework is just check when x square minus 3 is less than 0. Just check this part. When x square minus 3 is 0. And when log of x minus 5 to the base 10 is less than 0. Give this first priority, and if you're able to do this, then think about this also. Okay. Is that okay?
Sir, sir, I have a doubt. Can I ask it?
Yes.
Sir, for that I need to annotate, sir. Sir, can I?
Go on.
Sir, in that log notes you a sign was given, sir. It was like E, tilted.
Yeah, E is a irrational number. Sometimes you are log to the base 10. We'll discuss E later. See, your other students must be knowing. We'll discuss what is E later. Okay.
No, sir, not that. Sir, it was something like this. What is this?
Oh, this is sigma.
Sigma.
It's a sigma.
Sigma.
Yeah, sigma means summation.
Summation.
Which also we'll do in a topic called progression and series, sequence series progressions. We'll do it in this topic, okay? Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Thank you.
actually, it was given in that logarithm notes which you gave
Achha.
from IIT Foundation.
Okay. So fine, we'll continue again the next class, right? Thank you very much.